All right, welcome to the week 8 lab of the Child Theme Lab site series. Finally, this week, we're actually going to make the actual child theme of our child theme. Are there any dinosaurs in your dinosaur park? We're finally going to make the child theme. So I'm going to show you how to make it, and then I'll explain why we're making it, what the purpose of it, what usefulness there would be in it. Okay, so just notice. My house is a little bit under construction, so I still got to do trim and stuff. So this room's actually kind of a new room that I'm working on. So don't ignore this. Okay. So what you're going to do is open up your site, or open up local, and we actually don't need to do this yet. What we're going to do is we're just going to literally follow the directions of what I put on my site. Okay. So if you go right here, it says child theme, blah blah blah. This is the child theme is, so on and so forth. And this is how you go about making it. All right. So what this is saying here is what we're going to do. We're just going to follow these directions because there's a very specific process, and there's not really room for adjustment. Like you just literally have to write the code this specific way, and then it functions correctly. Okay. So we're going to make this, and then I'll explain why we're making it afterwards, which I guess is backwards, but I just think it'll be easier this way. Okay. So when you have local open, the reason why I needed this open to begin with is I need to go to the master folder of this where it actually is stored. And if you know where it is, you can just go there. But if you right click over top of the name, you could see, here we go, show folder. And what that does is it's actually going to open up the folder where it is, and then you can navigate from there. So once you do that, you're just going to open this up, then go to app, public, and then content. Basically, everything that you've uploaded or installed will show up here. The rest of it is things that are mostly auto-generated through WordPress, but like plugins you install, the themes you install, uploads that you install. Sorry, I had to yell at my dog. So anyway, the everything that you've uploaded, so all of the images that we've uploaded will be in there. That other thing, whatever. So what we need to do is go to the themes folder, and the theme that we used earlier, which is that e-commerce gem theme, is right there. So I can see it right there. That's great. You can also see the default ones that automatically come with it are also there. What we're going to do is we're going to add our own, okay? And then you name it a specific way. So I'm going to click on a new folder. You can right click new folder, and we're just going to literally write what the original one was, e-commerce-gem. And then you're just going to add -child, okay? Now, inside of that, I'm going to open that up. We need to make 2 files, and that's really it. Now, you can add more to it than this, but these are like the bare bones of what we need in order to do what I want you guys to be able to do. Okay, so, and what we need to do in there is this. We need to create, so you have to make your child theme named after your primary theme. We need to create 2 files. We need a functions.php file and a style.css file, okay? So to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up, and hang on a second because I did this. Oh no, we're okay. I'm going to open up Microsoft Visual Studio Code, okay? And we're just going to do File New. And I'm not even going to bother putting anything in there yet. We'll get back to this. And I'm just going to go ahead and save this. I'm going to do File, Save As. And this one, I'm just going to go ahead and go to the desktop just so that I know where it is. And we will name this Functions, like function with the plurals, .php. Okay, so don't worry, just make sure this says plain text. The PHP will override that extension. Good. And you can actually see how there's this little elephant? That's how it knows that it's PHP code and not something else. Okay, so we need that file, and the other one we need is the style.css. So again, file, new file, and we're just going to go ahead and save this. Control-Shift-S or File Save As. Again, make sure it's to the desktop. And I'm just going to call it style.css. Okay, now we have our 2 files. That's great. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of them here. You'll see why in a second, because we're actually going to move the location, so they're not going to work correctly. So I'm just going to exit out of those. I'll minimize this. Okay, we're still inside of that child theme. So I'm going to open that child theme, and those 2 files that I just made are right on the desktop. This functions PHP and the style.css. Now, there's nothing in them. They're just empty text files, which I guess they're nothing. But so I'm just going to go ahead and select them both and drop them in here. And now we have the general folder structure, right? So I have the child theme folder, and I have these 2 files underneath it. There's nothing in them, so it's not going to do anything yet. but they are in there. Now what we need to do is actually add the code to make these function. Okay, so first bit of code I need to add is this right here. Okay, so basically, when you are in when you're in WordPress, you will notice that when the themes have names and there's like a picture and things like that, this is where it gets that information. This is how it knows what the name is that you have to write this out like this. So I'm actually just going to grab this stuff right here. Just going to click and drag across it, Control C, and then go to that folder that we just dropped those two things in, and I'm just going to go ahead and double click on that one and double click on this one. So they're both back open again. The reason why I didn't just leave them open is because this was looking for them on the desktop. They're not there anymore. So if you look, you can see the folder structure now is leading to where my websites are located. That's why I closed them out and reopened them up. It seems counterproductive, but that was the reason. Okay, so I'm inside my styles now, .css, and I'm just going to Control V, and there you go. Now, if you recall, hopefully from previous, when you do a / asterisk, that's actually a comment. So this whole thing is actually just one commented out thing. So basically, the code usually doesn't read it. WordPress will read this because it's looking for these keywords. So it'll read this. They don't have any like actual functional use. It's just stuff so that WordPress knows who the authors are and all that other stuff. Okay. So, but I am going to go ahead and fill this out. So the theme parent name. So for us, it was the e-commerce -gem space child, and I'm just going to go ahead and copy that because that's just a little bit easier. Control C, and it's also got to go here where it says theme. Basically, I put it in some braces so that you could tell where you need to change stuff. So this is going to be different depending on what your original theme is. We're just doing it for what we have, and the template is again the theme name. So it's going to paste that name of that theme right there. Now right here it wants the URI, the original where it came from. I'm just gonna leave it alone for right now, but that's what's supposed to go there. Author, you can put your own name. So Jonathan Coon. Your site. So this would be obviously the site of probably your website is what you would put. So I'm just gonna do flywheelsites.teachmecone.com. Okay, because that's basically my site, and that's what I need. And then the version number, so on and so forth. And I'll show you where you actually see this in a little bit, but that's the basic lump sum of that. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit Control S or File Save, whatever, Command S if you're on a Mac. So we got that part done. Now the other thing we need to do. So what I did here is this is generally what should be, and this is an example of like what I did for mine. Okay, for a different one. So same thing here. I have this PHP. All right, now what I want to do is this. Instead of copying this, I'm going to have you copy this one. And I'm going to show you. I was going to have you type this out with me and stuff, but quite frankly, you don't really know this code. I don't have it memorized either because PHP, I don't write enough of it to like just know it. I'm just going to copy and paste it. I'm going to show you why it doesn't work initially so that it'll be useful to you later in the future. So I'm just going to go ahead and click and drag across it, Control C or Command C, go here, and I'm going to go to my functions PHP now that I opened up earlier, Control V. And if you look at mine and you look at this one, you're going to see they don't look the same. See how this is like highlighted, right? And then if you look at this one, see how it's not? Now this is something that I didn't know about, and then I figured this out at some point because students were doing something and I was like, oh my God, it didn't really occur to me. I guess it makes sense, but so every character has like a code associated with it, right? So every possible little like a T and an uppercase T, italicized T, all those have some sort of code that's attached with it, right? A key code. So they all mean certain things, and they mean what they mean. Now, if I do a capital T or lowercase t, you can immediately tell that that's wrong. Here's what's wrong with this. You see these quotes? Notice how, I'm sure you've seen this. You know, sometimes when you see quotes, they'll be the curvy ones. See how these are curvy? This quote right there. See how it's curvy? That is not the same as the straight ones. You know, sometimes they're straight and sometimes they're curved. They're actually different characters. So this, when the code doesn't read those as the traditional quote that you would use in code, it distinguishes them as different things. Those don't mean a darn thing inside of code. And I wanted to actually show you this because this could, trust me, I've been like, why is this not working? And you know what I mean? It's something stupid. It's always something stupid. And so it's like a little tiny, odd little thing. So what you have to do is for all of those, delete it and just do a single quote again. See how now it's a straight up and down guy? Because if you would have saved that, and it wouldn't work. It would be like, this is broken. It probably would have thrown an error at you if you try to refresh your site. Okay. Well, if you installed it, and actually probably wouldn't even let you install it. So wherever there's those those curved quotes, I'm going to replace them. And that's literally the only thing. Now I'm sure there are other characters that are like that as well. But I've always found that for whatever reason, sometimes when you go into one program, it'll convert them to these and that program, and then you bring them back over and it converts them to the other, and sometimes it doesn't. And so just watch that, okay? So once that's done, we now can save this. Just so you understand a little bit of PHP, because basically it works just like HTML, where you have an opening tag and then a closing tag. Now you're going to notice with this one, it only has an opening, because what this does is it says, start opening up, here's PHP. But then when it gets done with this, I want it to read the next thing it's going to read also as PHP. So I actually don't close it here, because this will be the first thing it reads. And then we don't have it here, but the next document that it's going to read, it's going to read document after document. It's going to start that document off still reading PHP. So this is like the opening HTML tag. You know, when we write our normal HTML code and we write, doc type HTML, that just says the type of document. But then we write HTML. That's what this is. So it says treat everything as PHP. Because one of the things that PHP does is that you can go into PHP and back out of PHP, and into PHP and back out. Just like the JavaScript. You can go in, you write script, and then you can start write JavaScript, and then you close script, and then you go back into the HTML document. Exactly the same kind of concept. So I can actually write HTML into this if I close out of PHP and then open up again. And it's kind of how a lot of these themes and things work, is that they go into that. It's kind of like JavaScript in the fact that like the PHP can kind of work concurrently with the HTML, and it allows you to do more like functions and like these big things. That HTML, all it does is it's just wrap text, right? It doesn't do anything beyond that. This will let you to add functions, but the difference with PHP is that it's very much built on a dynamic system. And so that's, and it's how WordPress is written. So this is how you interact with WordPress, is PHP. All right. So all we're doing here is that inside of PHP, there's a library of different functions. One of them is this add action. And what that does is it's going to add an action, and it's going to add this action. Okay. Now, this action function or method, because it's inside of the thing, it needs two arguments, right? So it needs this guy and this guy. So we have this WP and Q scripts. Again, these are both built-in things, or this one's not, this one is. Basically what this says is when it's time to load up scripts, I want you to run this. I want you to run this function. Okay, so this is basically like an event listener. It's listening for when this happens. So when scripts are to be loaded, I want you to run this. And this is what this function is here. And then we make the function here. And all this says is my theme in Q styles, which is just the name of it. This really could be anything, but it just made sense. And then here's a function that says to load a style, and the style it's going to load is a parent style. And then you get the template, and it's going to look for style.css. Okay. So go ahead and save that. All right. And now it should work. So if you save that, and then I'm just going to minimize it just on the off chance that it doesn't work. And then I want you to go to local, and you can go ahead and start your site. And go ahead and go to, I like to do both. I'm going to do view site, and I am also going to go to admin. I just like to have both like open. I know I can do it from one or the other, but so I already logged in earlier, so mine's, did I log in earlier? I don't remember logging in earlier on this one, actually. I logged in on my other one. Well, anyway, you probably have to log in. So it should be VCP, just like it was last time. Hang on a second. Oh, that's not anything. Okay. Come on. Okay, so we're in our site, blah, blah, blah. So if you remember, the area in which we install our themes is down in Appearance. And we go to Appearance, Themes. If you just click on Appearance, it will show up. And now you'll see this e-commerce gem child. It gets that name from the stupid thing. Get out of there. Nah. It gets that name from here. That's where it's getting that from. Okay, that's how it knows. That's why you have to write it a certain way because it's looking for those specific keywords. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and activate. And if I click on theme details, you're gonna see all the stuff that we wrote. So right here it says e-commerce gem gem child, version 1.01. Again, right here I wrote the version. Okay, and then it says by Jonathan Cohn right there. Okay. And then any other information I'm going to have, and it says this is the child theme would be e-commerce, blah, 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 right? And that's, let's see, right here, okay? So that is how it knows all that information. And now it is also possible that you can actually attach an image and stuff in there too, but it's not really necessary to make it function, so I'm not going to worry about it, but just realize that that's what's happening. Okay, now we've got the child theme going. I want to show you something. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to refresh my site. Notice what is activated. This child one, mine, looks exactly the same, which is exactly what's supposed to do. So let me explain what a child theme is and what the purpose of it is, because we're going to use it in a little bit here, but I want you to know what it is. So let's say you don't like something about this. Like, for instance, we're going to change this, but see how, like, I don't like how small my home and inventory icons are for my thing up here. I don't like it. I wish they were a little bit bigger, right? It is possible to make them bigger, but the theme itself, you know, like the options that we get, that isn't one of the options. I can't change that, but I could, if you wanted to, if I select inside of here, you can actually go to, where is it? Theme editor. And then say, I understand. So what this is telling you is this. I'm going to go to the e-commerce gem. You don't have to do this. I'm just showing you. Okay. And hit select. Okay. All of the files that are inside of that e-commerce gem theme are right here. Now, right off the bat, you can see it looks very similar. There's some extra stuff in here that we didn't do, but it does have like a version number. You can see it has the author, has the theme URI, which this is probably, I should probably paste that in my other one, but the theme name, right? And it's all inside of this, the comments, right? Okay, great. That is super great. Okay. So this is actually the style sheet. So it's very similar to what we have. And then inside of here are all the default styles, right? And so what I could do is I could go through here and look for the link thing and say, hey, I could change any one of these. I could change this color. You know, I want my, I'm trying to find something of any sort of like, I want my H1 to H6s. I want the, and my Ps, I want them all to have no margin. I could go here and zero those out, right? And I could put, so right now it's got 15 on the bottom, okay? I could do that, and that'd be like, great. But is that great? So here's the issue. I could change all of this. I can change their CSS totally. The problem is, and you're going to see this constantly, is that let's say that, you know, we're doing our site and I did that, but then there's an update for it. There's an update for this theme, right? If I update it, what do you think happens to my code that's in here that I overwrote on their style sheet? It's gone, because when you download the update, it's going to take anything that's there and replace it. So basically any kind of custom stuff you've done is gone. It's just, that's it. Sayonara. And you want to do updates, because even if you're happy with the look, a lot of times most of the updates, in fact, are security updates. And that's a constant. I've been hacked. I get hacked at least a couple times a year, to be honest. I probably should pay for like a security thing, but yeah. I don't have any, like, I don't know. You guys are losers, not me, because you just won't be able to get to my content. Although no, it is annoying, but usually I just call them up and they'll revert it, and I just change the password a bunch. But most of them are actually security things. So you have to do the updates. You want to do them. But if you do the updates, anything that's custom that you've done is basically not going to be there. And that's just it. Like, so that kind of stinks. So even though you could rewrite them here, or because we're doing it locally, we can actually do it. We can go to that theme folder and do it in there. But if your site is live, you can actually change it right in here. And then you would just, let me see. Right here, you would just update the file when you're done. And that's cool. But like I said, you're going to lose it. So what you can do instead is this. You can do a child theme. And what a child theme does, let's go back to themes, is this. It runs after the other theme. Meaning this whole theme will run just like it normally would. And then when it's done, it runs this child theme. So basically, you have like the theme that's here that's doing all the stuff that it does. And then when that one's done, yours will just go over top of it. And so let's say they have like H1 through H6, like I was just showing like defaults. If I put them on mine, it's going to do theirs. But if I do it on mine, mine will overwrite theirs because mine's read after. So basically, you can do any of the custom stuff that you want to do, but you don't have to worry if you update or if there's anything. You don't have to change in the original code. You can leave their theme alone because you don't know what they did anyway, and you can just do your own and have that lay on top. And so if you need to get anything custom, you can totally do that. So for example, my personal site, I have a child theme on top of the theme that I'm running. And the reason why I have that is because there's certain things I wanted to do that the theme just would not allow. It's because I have very specific weird things that I need to do that they don't care about. So I'll show you actually, for example. So let's say I've been doing in Web Design 1, we've been doing bootstrap stuff, right? So if you look, you see like this stuff here, right? See how this is dynamically animating, going open and close? There's nothing in that theme that allows me to do that. So what I did is I made my own child theme that goes over top, and then that child theme, if it has a certain class that I made, it applies it to this, as well as even this formatting. I made a class that formats it, that code looks like this, and a bunch of other things too. So like this here, you see this little browser view thing again? See how like there's these columns? What I did with my site is that in my child theme, I also upload Bootstrap into it. So inside of this theme, inside of this little window is little mini Bootstrap running. And that way I can show Bootstrap examples inside of my site, which would not be possible and you would never want to do anyway. I just need to do it because of what I'm teaching. It wouldn't normally be possible, but it's possible for me because I made the child theme that wrote over top. And this way, every time too that I'm using Divi, and we're gonna go over Divi in a little bit. Every time Divi needs to update, I can just update it, and it's nothing. It doesn't bother me at all. My stuff stays the same as long as there's nothing like their update messes something up on my end, but it shouldn't, hopefully, because mine just runs after, so it's just gonna override anything that they had that might be using this as well. And so it allows me basically a lot more flexibility by doing that. Okay, so that's the whole purpose of a child theme. It's just so that you can add your own custom stuff, because there are certain things in here that this theme doesn't allow me to do that I might want to like change, such as like this, or maybe I want to have like, we have these kind of almost like card things here, right? But maybe I want to like have a border around them, right? Now I can do it in here, but there's things that we can do basically. And so it just adds another level. So it's one of those things, quite frankly, whatever site that I was making, I would always make a child theme, even if I'm not going to use it initially, just because I'll put it on there. And then if I ever like need to do something, I could just go to that child theme and like, add that thing in there and it will show up here. So that's the purpose of it. So we've made the child theme. So the next thing to do is just to apply it. And I'm just going to show you, we're not going to go nuts with it. I just want to show you examples of how it would be utilized and different ways to incorporate into this. So I'm just going to do a couple of them, and we'll do that in the next video. It should be pretty quick and easy, though. So see you in the next one.